It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
Focusing on how versus how much in the beginning. Bo, I resemble this a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead and confess about this, is that when I was in my 20s, I had the internet fund. And then you would think I learned a lot because one of the first things I tell people about investing is one of the worst things to happen is that you're successful doing it wrong.
The first thing you do is
if you're successful doing it wrong, you just assume you're brilliant.
That's right.
No, you just got lucky. It's better to be lucky than good sometimes, for sure. And then I'll fast forward a decade or so, and you come on the scene with me. And you start doing this CFA studies.
Yeah, I had a feeling I was going to get blamed for this.
Education can be awesome, but it can also give you a false sense of knowledge.
And
we played around with stock options.
We had it all
Not with
figured
clients. I don't want anybody out there. We did this just with our own personal. We had some experiments because we had visions that Bo was going to. If hedge fund managers could do it, why can't Bo do it? So, all these things made us realize the how versus how much, especially for my younger listeners. You gotta not get this wrong because this is a huge mistake out there. And we're in a society right now where it seems like anytime we do a show on volatility or mentions the stock market, we have two groups of people that come rushing in to give us their comments. Who are they, Bo?
Well, the first one is where are those rates of return coming from?
Right.
How on earth are you coming up with 10, 12% rate of return? That's unrealistic, impossible.
Which is typically, we say, it's the S&P 500, the 500 biggest companies in the United States. But then the second thing is Bitcoin.
That's exactly right. The folks say, I've got a different way to make it. But don't do the stock market thing. You got to do this other new thing that's going to just change the world.
And then, of course, the naysayers that are scared are the gold people. So those are the people that always show up. But I want to talk to you about why choosing the investments. You have to be very careful about this is because it's one of those things where if you're saving 20 to 25%, you're going to win the game. That is really it. That is what sets you apart for long-term success, your behavior.
We get to go speak to companies where we help with their 401k plans, and we speak to a lot of colleges and high schools, and we try to tell folks starting out, and if you're someone in your investment portfolio is below $200,000, $300,000, you're still early in your accumulation career, we always say that your savings rate is exponentially more important than your rate of return, and you should focus on it as such. Whether you're making 10% or 12% on a small pot of money is very much different than if you're saving 20 to 25% of your income. It's going to have a much bigger impact on your overall financial success than what you're tweaking around the edges on the investment side.
I have phone calls because it's not uncommon for us to have clients say, hey, can you speak to my adult children? And it always amazes me, and I resembled this so much, so I have complete understanding of it, is when I talk to somebody who's very bright, who's very excited to be out there in the real world making their first real income.
Right.
And then I talk to them about investing, and they're like, okay, so where should I put my money? And I'm like, how about index funds? And they're always like, index funds?
No, I mean, what stock should I buy?
Like, tell me. I'm smarter than that. I got this thing figured out. And so just be very careful. And let's talk about maximization techniques, because it is one of those things we kind of already have alluded to it. If you can save 15 to 25%, get there as soon as possible. You are setting yourself up for long-term success. The second part of that, and that ties into, is automate your savings.
Exactly right.
Make this thing automatic for the people, and the fact that if you can do this where your cash management, your budget plan has the money come out of your accounts automatically and go towards long-term savings goals, guys, you're going to see how easy this is. You won't even miss the money. So automate the savings as much as possible. It's like muscle. You're setting up that muscle memory for long-term success so that your 401k with your employer, not only are you getting the free money with your employer match, but you're also maxing out the Roth IRAs and all the things that are going to help you have that tax-free option in retirement.
I don't know if you saw this, Brian, but when I first started out, I used to say, okay, well, I'll just pay all my bills, and whatever's left over, I'll just save that amount. I'll just save that amount. Now it's kind of the strategy that I tried to start out with in my financial journey, and what I recognized very early is by some miraculous event, there was never any money left over. It always just kind of found a way to disappear into different places. When you set yourself up to pay yourself first, it's amazing that you don't allow yourself to behaviorally screw that up.
We all have leaky houses, or maybe it's just there's a hole in your wallet.
That's right.
And the fact that everybody who tries to just say whatever's left, I will do, you're going to find that is a failure of a system and that's why we talk about forced scarcity all the time.
That's
Remember,
exactly right.
you start with budgeting. After you have a plan of success where you've already created a cash flow plan where things are going automatically through automation, it's okay. That forced scarcity, every time you get a new pay raise, every time you have more money coming in, you go ahead and allocate a portion of that for the future so that you don't get caught
right.
not respecting how much you need to be saving.
And again, we always say that you need to be saving 15 to 25%. Well, you might be listening and be like, guys, I'm nowhere near that. I can't do that. I'm just going to give up on this thing. If you can't start there, start somewhere. If all you can do is $20 a month, $50 a month, $100 a month, whatever the number is, start somewhere and you will be amazed at how quickly your army of dollar bills will start working for you.
We get this, it's either a YouTube comment or an email comes in to us from a podcast listener. And like, I'm 23 years old. Y'all talking about saving 25%. I feel like a failure. I'm like, I wasn't saving 25% when I was 23 years old. So I don't want people to get discouraged. It's okay if you have to crawl, then you walk, and then you start running. That's
right.
when you are hitting the 20 to 25%. And this is why we've done shows for how should my teen invest? If I'm a teenager, how should I invest? What's my first investment? We want you guys to understand. Remember what even got me to do this for a living was I had an economics teacher in high school tell me if I could save $100 a month, I would be a millionaire by the time I retired. That was like, whoa. Are you serious? So, guys, a little goes a long way while you're in your 20s. So it's perfectly fine if you need to start small with like $50 a month. That is perfectly fine. Yep. The whole thing is we're trying to encourage the behavior that once you start that process and you see your money start working for you, you go like, wait a minute, that $100. Well, let me give you an actual true example. My daughter, y'all know I have a teenage daughter. Last year, because she does babysitting and other odds and ends, she has some money.
Okay.
I do a dollar for dollar match on whatever she contributes to her custodial Roth IRA.
Okay.
She gave me $1,100. So proud. So if you do the math on that, we set up a $2,200 custodial Roth IRA. That account is now worth close to $2,600. And it's only been a year and a half since we set this thing up.
And I have to believe that in her mind, she's thinking, wait. I just put $1,100 in and now I've got $2,600 in.
Yeah.
That has to be getting her excited about saving and investing and building for the future.
Well, it affirms behavior of the fact that when she starts her first real job, there is a dollar for dollar match. It's probably going to come from her employer. And then the second thing is, as you can see, almost half is also coming from the market working just as hard. So it is an incredible learning opportunity that just that behavior, you're going to get addicted. You're going to say, wait a minute, I just put $1,100. It's now worth $2,600. I need to get more of this. I like that. I want more of it. And you're going to see that your $50 a month turns into $100 until eventually it is 20 to 25% of your gross income. So let that be a lesson. Focus on what you're doing and the behavior versus where it's going to. And that's the last point on the maximization techniques. Don't even pick an investment.
The world it's a lot easier now than it was 30 years ago.
Well, a lot of people, when they hear that, don't pick an investment at all. You're like, so leave it in cash? No, you can do target retirement funds. You can set up index funds. Think about Fidelity is now offering zero funds, meaning they have zero minimum, zero cost. I mean, it's and it's a loss leader. They're hoping that you get so addicted to them that you'll open up all kind of other product lines in the future. I get why they're doing it, and it's also because there's a price war between Fidelity and Vanguard. Take advantage of this. Yep. Let this innovation that's going on in the technology and the investment world be to your benefit. Target retirement funds, all you have to do, you choose the year you think you're going to need the money or the year that you think financial independence will be yours. It does the rest. It's aggressive while you're young. The glide path takes it to where it's more conservative as you get closer to retirement. So easy peasy.